Okay. Let me know in the chat room if you can hear me. For those of you who are new or joining us for the first time, the way this works is I give my thoughts on the episode, and then we do super chats at the end. And that may be all we have time for tonight, because I got a call from the power company a few minutes ago. They're doing some kind of emergency repairs in the area, so there's going to be a scheduled power outage starting at 10 p.m. So we have slightly less than an hour to talk tonight. So I'll give my thoughts on the episode, then we'll do super chats, and then we'll get out of here. Probably won't have time for much else, unfortunately, tonight. So, did you see the news that Hugh Jackman is going to be in Deadpool 3? Yeah, I did. Don't really care that much, honestly. I mean, I kind of got my closure on Hugh Jackman as Wolverine with Logan, and it's Deadpool 3, so it's not like it's going to be something serious. It'll be about as serious as Cable was, you know? It's not very. I don't think he will be Wolverine going forward. I mean, he could probably still do it, but they're going to want when Marvel finally get around to casting MCU Wolverine, they're going to want one that's going to be around for a while. Yeah, another 10, 12, 15 years maybe. I don't think Hugh Jackman could be playing Wolverine 15 years from now, so I expect it'll be a one-off and not one to be really taken seriously, so it's kind of my thoughts on it. But yeah, let's just get right into it because we don't have a lot of time here. Starting with House of the Dragon, Episode 6. Only 3 more episodes this season, I think. Is it 3 more? I thought it was 9 episodes. I might be thinking of something else, though. Anyway, this one starts with Rhaenyra, adult Rhaenyra, so we've swapped out the child actors for adult actors now. So this one is about 10 years after episode 5. So a lot of stuff's gone down. And it starts with Rhaenyra giving birth to her 3rd child. A very white baby who bears a striking resemblance to the captain of the King's Guard. Or the City Watch, rather. Commander of the City Watch. I was thinking of something else. Yeah, just like her other 2 kids. And the baby is out for about 10 seconds when a maid comes in and informs her that the Queen has requested the baby be brought to her immediately. That's pretty ridiculous. So Rhaenyra is adamant that she'll bring the baby herself, even though she just popped the kid out. So she gets up, gets dressed, and then the placenta drops out of her. And they don't show us anything. It's all on the actors, but oh god, the sound effects were uncomfortable here. This is a several-minute scene of the birth, the afterbirth, conversing with the maid and whatnot, all done in one shot, one take with no cuts. Unbelievable. And it's all on the actors, too. It's like, the new Rhaenyra actress, like, that was her first scene. The first thing she did was this. Incredible. And then they do it again. Like, Rhaenyra and Laenor walk through the castle with the baby, through the corridors, up the stairs, interacting with other characters. You can see stuff out the window, so there's a lot of green screen involved with that too. Again, all done in one shot, no takes. This was just super, super impressive on a technical level, an acting level. I mean, you can tell adult Rhaenyra is like going hard after that Emmy. And if she keeps performing like this, she might just get it. So, they meet with Alicent and Viserys. Alicent put Rhaenyra through this just to be a passive-aggressive asshole, basically. And Viserys looks fucking terrible now. I mean, he didn't look good before, but now, Jesus Christ, he looks like he looks about 20 years older than he should. with each passing episode, it gets less and less credible that he's not dead yet. Because holy crap, he looks bad. The dude can barely walk at this point. The kid is obviously not Laenor's, and everyone seems to be like silently aware of this, except Viserys, who is either blind or willfully ignorant. Also, things are not great between Rhaenyra and Laenor either, since he hasn't seemed very interested in keeping up appearances to maintain the illusion that their marriage and their family are not a massive sham. And plus, Sir Criston is still there somehow. He was not executed and is still a Kingsguard, despite beating Laenor's dude to death at Laenor's wedding celebration. I gotta call bullshit on that one. I'm sorry. Yeah, Corlys is such a such a prideful guy. I can't imagine he would have let Criston off the hook for that one. That makes no sense to me. So no, I don't buy that one. Anyway, Laenor drops his wife off. Drops off his wife and the baby with Sir Harwin, commander of the City Watch, and then quickly fucks off with the other two kids so Rhaenyra can be alone with the baby's actual father. Harwin, I believe, is the older son of Lionel, who replaced Hightower as the Hand of the King. I think this is the first time we've met Harwin, but I'm not sure. I know he was mentioned in a previous episode. I don't think we actually saw him until now. And the kids are taken to dragon training. Rhaenyra's older son is trying to teach his dragon to follow commands like halt, heal, Dracarys, that stuff. The kids play a prank on Aemond, who is Alicent's younger son. He's the only one without a dragon because I guess they ran out of eggs or something, so that they got him one, but it's just a pig dressed up like a dragon. Ha ha. They all think it's funny, but Aemond is the depressed, emotional one in the family, so he lets them get their yucks in, and then he goes into the dragon pit alone. Not really sure what he thought he was doing in there, but a big dragon spooks him, so he runs away. We go to Alicent, is with her third kid, a girl, which means Alicent must have had sex with Viserys at least 3 times. Ugh. You gotta kind of feel bad for her. The girl seems like weirdly fascinated with a centipede or something. I don't know if they're characterizing her as autistic or what, but that's the impression I got. So Aemond is brought to her. She chastises him for going into the pit again. I guess he wanted to check if there were any new eggs being laid yet. He's really upset about the joke the others played on him. So Alicent takes this to Viserys, and she goes on about how Rhaenyra's kids are little monsters. You know, they're an affront to the family, to the crown, even though Aegon was in on the joke too. Again, there's an insinuation, without actually saying it, that Laenor is not the father of these kids. Viserys still denies that. He's like, look, Mother Nature does weird shit sometimes. Look, I had a black horse that got knocked up by a silver horse, and they had a brown foal. Look, sometimes freaks happen. You know, it's not uncommon. You know, kids don't always look like their parents. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And by the way, the consequences of this little allegation you're making are pretty fucking serious for all of us, so knock it off. So Alicent complains to Criston about Rhaenyra and the kids, and how Viserys refuses to see what his eyes tell him. Criston has become very bitter and angry toward Rhaenyra in the last 10 years, and he's kind of Alicent's sounding board now, so those two are on the same page with this. Then Alicent walks in on Aegon, who's pulling a Homelander jerking off naked on a windowsill. And I'm not sure if it was... I'm not sure if that was the actor or a body double, but I just hope he was over 18. Either way, I didn't feel comfortable watching this. So Alicent confronts him about the pig. He denies it, says it was Rhaenyra's kids. She says he needs to look out for his brother because they're family, and when Rhaenyra ascends to the throne, they're going to be viewed as a threat to her. Aegon doesn't seem to want to be a king, though, and he appears to be fine with the way things are, and with Rhaenyra being the heir, but Alicent says the realm will demand that Aegon be the king instead, especially since Rhaenyra's kids are obviously bastards, and just about everyone acknowledges that, even if they won't talk about it. So she yells at him and, tells him the way it's going to be. He doesn't look happy about it, which I thought was interesting. He may be a little shit, but I find it's of interest to me that he doesn't seem to want to be the king. So he might be a little shit, but he's not super ambitious, maybe? Not sure. Adult Alicent is very high-strung and very paranoid. I don't know what happened in the 10 years since the last episode, but what her dad said to her when he left really got into her head. And I guess the closer Viserys gets to kicking the bucket, which looks like it could be any minute now, the more desperate she gets to feeling like something's got to give here. Not sure what, but she's acting like the walls are just closing in on her right now. Yeah, cut to Daemon and Laena Velaryon. They're married now, 2 kids, another one on the way. So they ride their dragons to Pentos. They make a big show of it. Now, some rich family is hosting them, and at the dinner party, this guy makes them an offer. Why don't they just live here in Pentos? He'll roll out the red carpet for them. They'll have free reign of everything, and in return, they can use their dragons to take care of the Triarchy, who's supposedly making some kind of deal with Dorne or something, and he expects that they'll all be marching on Pentos or sailing to Pentos or whatever. So a new conflict is brewing, and I guess that's where it's going to come from. Laena's not wild about this idea. She wants baby number 3 to be born on Driftmark, and she wants to die a dragon rider's death. But Daemon's considering it, because it would get him away from all the exhausting bullshit surrounding the Iron Throne and the succession and the heir and whatnot. And his attitude these days is, well, I wanted to be king. That didn't happen. I wanted Rhaenyra. That didn't happen. Now I've got a couple kids, but they're both girls, so that doesn't help me. So, fuck it. Whatever. It's a nice character progression for Daemon, but depressed Daemon is not as fun as ambitious, incestuous Daemon, so we need to get that guy back. Back at King's Landing, Criston and Harwin are training the princes in sword fighting. Criston favors Alicent's kids, Harwin favors Rhaenyra's, because they're also his, obviously. They pit Aegon against Rhaenyra's oldest kid, but Aegon is a sadistic little shit, so that gets kind of ugly. Eventually, this turns into a big dick-measuring contest with Criston and Harwin. Criston makes an insinuation that Harwin's interest in the princes is akin to a father's interest, so Harwin takes offense at this, beats the shit out of him for even suggesting such a horrible thing. So he's in trouble now. Rhaenyra eavesdrops on Lionel, reading his son the riot act over this. You've opened us up to some really bad allegations. They could mean exile for you and the princes, and the princess and the kids. Harwin denies the allegations, of course, but nobody's buying it. Meanwhile, Laenor's been out getting drunk with his new dude while this has all been going down. And he's really excited about this Triarchy business because it could mean war in the Stepstones again. And he's been really restless. He's got the itch to get back to sea and get into a big battle again. And also, let's be honest, to get away from his extremely female wife for a while. Because Rhaenyra may be the future queen, but she doesn't have a penis. And that's what he's here for. But Rhaenyra shuts him right down. Like, are you fucking insane? We've got all these salacious rumors about our family going around. People talking about our son's parentage, asking all sorts of questions, and you want to run away? Fuck no. I've indulged you for 10 years while you just fucked around at court, You fucked all the boys you wanted, got drunk all the time, did as you pleased, and yeah, that was our agreement, so I don't begrudge you that. But you're sure as hell not leaving me alone to deal with this shit myself, so I'm commanding you as the heir to the throne to stay right the fuck here. And Laenor's not happy about that, but really, who gives a shit about him? So Laena talks to her younger daughter, who is depressed that her dragon egg has never hatched, and Daemon ignores her, so she wonders if she could just stay here in Pentos. Isn't sure if they'd want her to stay, because she's the only one without a dragon. Laena tells her that there's other ways to get a dragon, other than having one born to you, because, Laena wasn't born to a dragon, didn't have one born to her, rather. She didn't get one till she was 15, and now she's got the biggest dragon in the realm. So there's other ways to get a dragon. Her road is harder, but she can still get one. Then Laena talks to Daemon, tells him that, look, she knows that his life has disappointed him, and he's kind of lost his mojo in the last 10 years, but he's more than this. He's more than this sad sack that he's been, who just hangs out in this castle and reads about the Targaryen history of like the Targaryen kings who did all these amazing things, and these are his forebearers, and he's kind of wishing his life had amounted to more, basically, and he's sad that it didn't. And I would agree with that. We need happy Matt Smith back, not this somber drunk dude all the time. Small council meeting. There's some talk about another war in the Stepstones because it was left undefended after Daemon cleared out. And now they've got more problems down there, and Rhaenyra says that we should have built fortifications, with ships and an army down there to keep it safe from other pirates moving in or whatever. And of course, Alicent disagrees with this. Like, we didn't have the resources for that. Blah blah blah. There's more dick measuring between these two. They can't agree on anything. Finally, Rhaenyra makes a peace offering that they marry Alicent's daughter to her son, to Rhaenyra's son, so they can rule together. And also, if more dragon eggs become available, that Aemon should have his pick of them. She's trying to smooth things over between them. And it's a nice gesture. Viserys thinks it's a great idea, because whatever gets him out of this meeting sooner is fine with him, basically. But, the moment's ruined when Rhaenyra starts lactating. Womp womp. Viserys thinks this would go a long way toward putting aside their quarrels and being stronger for it, but Alicent sees through it and thinks Rhaenyra's just making a desperate plea because she feels backed into a corner, and Alicent's not falling for that. So Lionel comes in at this point, tries to resign his hand to the king. His son disgraced himself, there's a dark cloud over his house, he can't serve Viserys with integrity anymore, and I actually believe that he means this. A character whose integrity really means something to him. You've got to respect that. That is a rarity in the world of Game of Thrones. Viserys does not accept his resignation, but does give him leave to take Harwin back to Harrenhal, because Harwin will be the Lord of Harrenhal someday after Lionel dies, so he needs to start assuming some duties down there. Okay? Alicent has dinner with Larys, who is Lionel's younger son, the crippled one. They discuss this whole situation. Alicent misses her father because, he at least would be partial to her, and she's feeling like there's nobody in King's Landing who's on her side, and, she has no allies, nobody's speaking for her. So she's feeling very cornered, and this gets the wheels in Larys' head turning. He sees an opportunity for himself here, so he goes into the dungeon and talks to some prisoners marked for execution about an opportunity. So they'll have their tongues cut out, which they show us, by the way. Good God, it's horrific. Oh, God, Christ, I cringed so hard. But they'll get to live. And they'll be working for Larys now, because he's got a little job for them. Cut to Lena, who's gone into labor, and it's not going well. It seems to be a recurring theme on this show. The baby won't come out. Yeah, the Maester tells Daemon, "Look, man, I've done everything I can here. We could try to cut the baby out, but it might not even be alive at this point. And either way, Lena's probably done for." So Lena overhears this. Don't ask me how. She's able to sneak out without either of them noticing. So you have to take that with a grain of salt. She sneaks outside, and she orders her dragon to burn her alive. Oh my god. See, what I thought was happening here was that she was trying to save the baby. That the dragon would burn her to ash, but since the baby has Targaryen blood, like, the fire wouldn't harm the baby, so, like, they would lift the baby out of her ashes and the baby would be alive. That's what I thought was happening here, which would have been really cool. But no, she's just committing suicide. So she dies, and I guess the baby dies too. It's a pretty gut-wrenching couple of scenes here. Wow. No shortage of gut-wrenching scenes in this episode, all for different reasons, actually. So, Harwin says goodbye to Rhaenyra and the kids. The older son asks Rhaenyra if Harwin's his father, which would make him a bastard. And Rhaenyra doesn't tell him yes, but she doesn't tell him no either. And then she tells Laenor that, yeah, they're getting the hell out of Dodge. There's too many rumors about them going around, and her olive branch to Alicent was undermined, so they're moving to Dragonstone. But she lets Laenor bring his dude with him, because, why should they all be miserable, right? Cut to Harrenhal, where those prisoners Larys freed set the place on fire and burned Lionel and Harwin to death. God damn it, Lionel was the only decent human being in this entire cast of assholes. Did we really have to Ned Stark the poor guy so soon? He couldn't even get to the end of the season? That is too damn bad. Ah, man. And we end with Larys revealing to Alicent that he set that up, had his own father and brother assassinated for her. So now she can write to her father to come back, and Hightower can, resume duties as the former and new Hand of the King. And, Larys is certain that she'll reward him for this when the time is right. And Alicent is mortified about this. She didn't ask for it, but she's got it now, and she's in way too deep to turn back. So yeah, Larys just got a lot more interesting, as did the show. This was another really good episode. In some ways, this might be, I don't know, maybe not my favorite, but this might be their best work so far in a lot of ways. Not a ton of action, really, but there were a lot of big set pieces, and there were a ton of, there was a lot of really impressive craftsmanship and how scenes were constructed and how they were shot. The visual effects team is really outdoing themselves, and the more labyrinthine the political intrigue gets, the more compelling it gets. Like, now that Hightower's probably returning as the Hand, he's likely going to be a lot more eager to impress upon Viserys that Rhaenyra's kids are bastards. And with the state Viserys is in, that might just be the end of him. And I suspect his death, which can't possibly be far off at this point, will be what finally kicks the story into second gear. Also, this is the first episode with the new actors playing the adult versions of all the kid characters in the first 5 episodes. I wasn't sure how I'd feel about that since I had gotten attached to the younger actors by now. but they're all really good. Like they're very well cast. They all look like the younger actors. Adult Rhaenyra is a little bit of a stretch, I think, but it's close enough to sell it, and the actress makes it work. And not to throw shade on anybody in the younger cast, but I think we've stepped up in the acting quality here noticeably. The adult Rhaenyra actress really impressed me in this one. Like doing those 2 super long shots at the beginning, acting out a birth scene, and then all that other stuff done with all no takes. I mean, this is. I mean, the first several minutes, like we're talking like 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes of the episode. That's 2 shots. That's just 2 separate shots. So I mean, for her to do like all that stuff in just 2 shots, I mean that takes some serious talent. I mean, she made a great first impression, and that takes a lot of know-how on the production end too, because especially the second shot where they're walking through the castle, because they had to build like a fucking huge set for that, and then do and coordinate all the extras and do all this fancy green screen stuff because they're walking by like these open windows so you can see outside. So there's a lot of visual effects work and going on there too. Just the quality of the production in that scene alone, really impressive stuff. Adult Alicent seems more like a type A personality than Child Alicent, who was quieter and more soft-spoken. But that makes sense. Alicent has become like especially paranoid and desperate in the previous 10 years. The irony being that the desperation is because of all the shit her father put in her head, and he's probably coming back because of her now. Larys has the makings of a pretty great villain. Kind of like a cross between Varys and Littlefinger, but a few shades darker than either of them. Like the scheming manipulator who's physically weak but is thinking 5 steps ahead of everybody. Like he was genuinely creepy in that final scene. Alicent is like low-key horrified at what he's done, and he's just sitting there smirking like, yeah, I totally did it. Yeah, I'm pretty good. And hey, I'm sure you'll reward me for this, right? Right? Like, he's acting like it wasn't even that big a deal that he had his father and brother killed. And then Alicent's over here looking like she wants to throw up. He's gonna be a good villain. And with the shit he pulled off here, it's gonna make the story a lot more interesting going forward. Also, we got a bunch of new characters, like, wow, how many of them? Like, all the kid characters, Aegon, Aemond, the girl is Helena, then there's, Viserys, the younger son, and the baby is Joffrey. I don't know what the younger son's name is yet. Oh god, these are going to be hard to keep track of. I was impressed how they clearly defined like who everybody is very quickly. Again, the casting's on point here because everybody's got a personality. Well, most of them do anyway. Aegon is, well, he's a little asshole. I think the saying is, like, every time a Targaryen's born, the gods flip a coin. So, I guess Aegon is, like, the bad penny of the group. Sadistic little asshole. But also surprisingly complex. It really surprised me when he was like, yeah, I won't challenge for the throne. I'm fine with the way things are. I don't want to be a king. That made him really interesting to me. Then you've got Aemond, who's kind of emo and a little depressed and doesn't he doesn't smile and feels like kind of like overlooked middle child syndrome because he doesn't have a dragon. And the girl, she's only in one scene, I think. but it was enough to give her an actual personality, which is a nice little piece of writing. Rhaenyra's kids, not too much to go on with them yet, but the older one, he's observant enough to understand that Sir Harwin is probably his father. So that was good. Daemon and Laena's kids. There's a good scene with the younger daughter. Feels inadequate because she doesn't have a dragon. So they were able to give a lot of these kids characters or personalities, or at least the beginnings of those things. And a lot of attention paid to character with the new kid actors. And you got to appreciate that, because it's only been one episode, but I already feel like I know who a lot of these kids are, and that's quality writing right there that you don't often see today. That was I appreciated that a lot. So that's about it. Another really strong episode here. House of the Dragon had a bit of a slow start, but the show's getting better and better. I get more excited for each new episode now. I think I still prefer season 1 of Game of Thrones, but they've got something really good here. So, here's to not screwing it up. Okay. Jenny Norwood, thank you very much for the super chat. Thorias, you are my spirit animal. I appreciate the hard work you put into your channel every day. Thank you very much. I appreciate all the support from you guys. I was checking out my analytics earlier. The most recent She-Hulk video is the most viewed one now, I think. Hold on, let me just double check that. Yeah, it just passed 50,000 views earlier today. So that's the most viewed She-Hulk video. And actually, they've all done better than I expected. I guess, She-Hulk content is kind of an algorithmic hotspot right now. But the She-Hulk videos got me to 45,000 views, which is my goal for the year. And now we're getting close to 40... Yeah, we're almost at 45.4 now. So I might have to move the goalpost for the year, because we could probably hit 46,000, maybe even a little better than that. And so yeah, I appreciate all the support. Okay, we're looking at a pretty good month for ad revenue here as well, so that'll be very helpful. So you guys really came through for that. And, I also appreciate you guys coming in for these live streams. I know it's tough because YouTube won't let me put like a notice up in advance for some reason. Never been able to figure that out. That sucks. But you guys always show up. So thank you. Where's the face cam? I stopped using the face cam because when I was using it, I had buffering issues. Seems like that's less of an issue when I talk through my avatar, so that's kind of why I'm doing that. I may need to get a new computer at some point, because this one has got some miles on it now. So at some point in the future, if I need a new computer and we upgrade to something more, a little newer, then maybe we can get back to using the face cam. But new computer may not be in the budget for a little bit, because when I have more money to play with, there's a couple other things I want to get first, like an actual camera. So I don't have to use the video, the camera that came with this computer. anymore. Because, the way I do videos is I record everything with Photo Booth. Because that's the only way I can do it. And some people have complained about the aspect ratio on that. And look, I agree. I don't like it either. But this is the only way I can do it. So, I really need to set up that damn Patreon, don't I? I always find myself making excuses for why I don't do that. But yeah, in the event that I get more money, want to get a new camera, among other things. Also, finished setting up the Teespring store, because the way the Teespring thing works is you have to put like a deposit down before you can make a product available. I guess you have to pay for them to produce something before you sell it. So you have to put money into it first, and you gotta have the money before you can put it in. So that's annoying. So yeah, I guess I really should set up the Patreon finally, shouldn't I? We've seen Harwin in 3 episodes now. Have we? Because I honestly don't remember him before this episode. Because I remember he was mentioned in, I think it was episode 3. Is when Lionel, it was the episode where they were hunting the stag, and Lionel advised Viserys about the succession thing, and Viserys was like, "Oh, let me guess, you want to marry Rhaenyra to your son, Harwin, right?" And he's like, "I'm flattered, Your Grace, but no, I think you should marry her to Laenor, because that would solve all your political problems." That was the first time I remember him being mentioned. I don't remember Harwin being seen before this. Maybe because I didn't. He didn't seem important until now. Lena got a good distance ahead of everybody despite being in labor. Yeah, I don't know how that happened. How did she sneak out of there? Because Daemon and the Maester were like right there, and the midwives were there, and she just walks out and nobody stops her. I don't buy that. Stefan Korn, thank you for the super chat. New computer fund. Oh, you are one of the good ones, my good sir. Thank you very much. Honestly, it's looking like a really good month for ad revenue because of the She-Hulk videos. So that would probably be enough to buy a new computer if all the ad revenue wasn't earmarked for, stuff, more immediate needs like rent and electricity, stuff like that. But, the She-Hulk videos have done really well in terms of ad revenue, so that'll help a lot. Maybe I should start putting something aside for the new computer fund. The Aegon actor is 22. Really? I mean, I knew he was older than the character's supposed to be, because isn't Aegon supposed to be like 13? Because that age doesn't match up. Man, I thought he was in like late teens or something, but 22, that doesn't make sense. Uh, all right, we are counting down the minutes. Let's give it another we should probably not go any longer than like 9:50 because that's the power's gonna go out around 10 o'clock is what the power company told me because they gotta do some like emergency repairs or something. So let's give it like another 8 minutes and then call it. Which is worse for you, Ms. Marvel or She-Hulk? Oh, She-Hulk definitely. Because Ms. Marvel wasn't good, but like at least the first episode like was like inoffensive stuff. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was inoffensive. And I liked the actress a lot. She didn't get great material, but the actress was good. And with She-Hulk, I mean, again, I like Tatiana Maslany, but the material is just freaking terrible. She-Hulk started out bad and then got aggressively worse, whereas Ms. Marvel started out and then got worse. But at least its beginning was not the worst thing ever. So She-Hulk, definitely the worst of the two. Did you know the bride in the She-Hulk wedding was a trans actor? I found that out a few days ago. No, at the time I didn't know. So, that's whatever. I don't see what difference that makes. If she's trans, okay, cool. Well, good for her, I guess. What didn't make sense was that Lyra's assassins had badges for some reason that has the same symbol on his cane to show they were his. Why would you give assassins badges that connects you to them? Yeah. I'm reminded of a Tyrion line from early on in Game of Thrones. Like, what sort of imbecile arms an assassin with his own blade? A guy who expects to not get caught, I guess. And I guess his guys didn't get caught, so I guess it didn't matter. But yeah, that was a stupid move on Larys's part. No, I would not have done that if I were him. Shouldn't Damon's kids be a quarter black? How are Damon's kids darker than their mom? Well, they may be a quarter black. Look, it's all casting, guys. I mean, they have to actually find actors like that. Maybe there were no quarter black actors available, so they went with who they had. It's fine, okay? It's not a big deal. Jace, Luke, Joffrey, Aegon, Helena, Aemond, Baela, Rhaena. Boy. I'm not even going to try with those. Harwin was the soldier in episode 4 and the dude who grabbed Rhaenyra in episode 5. Okay. Alright, well, he wasn't an important character until this week. I never had to put a deposit on my Teespring account. Didn't you? That's odd. Maybe I misread something. I should go back to that. Because I did actually open a Teespring account. I just never finished setting up the store. I really need to do that, don't I? Maybe I misread something. Thoughts on She-Hulk possibly appearing in the next Captain America movie? Beats me why she'd need to. I mean, I know they have I know all the characters are doing cameos and all the other projects all over the place these days, and that's kind of why people tune in. Not sure why they'd need She-Hulk to appear in that, unless Sam runs into legal trouble of some kind. If he did, though, I would hope he'd be able to afford a better lawyer than Jen. Because from what I've seen, she's a terrible lawyer. She didn't know what the hell she's doing. If I'm Sam, I'm gonna talk to Pepper Potts and be like, hey, can I borrow some of the Stark Industries lawyers, the Stark Industries legal team for what I got going on here? Because Stark could afford to, Pepper can afford the best lawyers. I would talk to her. Likes the bacon. Thank you very much for the $5. Any interest in Black Adam? I'm burnt on the superhero stuff. Interest in Black Adam? Not really. I'm interested in reviewing it. But seeing it just for entertainment? No. I don't understand Black Adam. Like, as a project. I mean, it's not like this is a big character. It's a Shazam villain. I mean, he's not even that big a character in the comics. I don't think he's ever had his own series. I think he had a mini-series or something, but it's not like he's an A-lister or anything. I mean, they're building him up into way more than what he's supposed to be just because it's The Rock playing him. And look, I love the guy, but he's got a big ego. And I don't think he can be part of a franchise without making the franchise all about him. And, I read stuff where the producer, the people at Warner Brothers gave him, like, creative control over this or something. And when he's got input into, like, mapping out the DCEU or something like that, and he has plans on making Black Adam like their version of Thanos or whatever. It's like, dude, you're supposed to get beat by frickin' Shazam, okay? Let's not put the cart before the horse here. The DCEU has someone who should be their version of Thanos, and it's not you, okay? There's several characters who it should be before frickin' Black Adam. All right? And, the trailer, it just looks like a massive ego stroke for him. I mean, shouldn't Dr. Fate be a bigger character than Black Adam? Why are we getting a Black Adam movie instead of a Dr. Fate movie? You know what I mean? It's just... all I'm seeing in that trailer is ego, and, the way he explained this is like, oh, Black Adam shouldn't appear in Shazam. He should have his own movie to build him up first before that happens. And like, but the two movies are obviously so different. Like, Shazam is a straight up comedy, and Black Adam takes itself like super duper seriously. And it's like, obviously these two completely different tones are not going to mesh well together. You can tell it is not in his plan to have Black Adam face off with Shazam. He wants that he wants Black Adam to fight Superman. And I'm sure if he got his way, Black Adam would beat Superman. Because I remember this one this video I saw a while back. It was back when they were making Fast 9, and there were some producers talking about how it was in Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's contract that he can't lose a fight. It was literally in his contract that his character cannot lose a fight. And if he has the same type of contract here, then, I mean, what's the point of even watching the movie? If you know going in that the main character cannot lose. And who would even put that in the contract when you're playing a guy who's supposed to be a fucking villain? You know what I mean? It's just dumb. Because ultimately, your character has to lose. But now I'm sure, he's going to make it so Black Adam ends up not being a villain after all. No, he's going to be the anti-hero. He's going to be Superman except with magic and he kills people. And he's going to be the greatest, the most powerful character in the entire DCEU. And he's going to change the DCU. DCEU will never be the same because of Black Adam, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, the character is not that important. Or he's not supposed to be. Can we just put ego aside and just focus on the freaking character? Because this is not what he should be doing. If you want to build him up in his own movie first, so be it. But his ultimate fate should be facing off against Shazam and ultimately losing. And excuse me. And they are going to be turning my power off any minute now. So I'm sorry, guys, but I got to call it there. Because I don't know. Because if I don't end the stream there, it's probably going to be ended any second now. Because, any minute now, my lights are going to go off. So I got to stop there. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to our super chats. Jenny Norwood, thank you very much. Stefan Korn, thank you. Likes the bacon, thank you. Thank you to everybody in the comments. When does the new Hellraiser come out? Because I'll probably be doing a video on the new Hellraiser. Thursday. All right. Oh, of course. Yeah, that figures same day as freaking She-Hulk, of course. So that's going to conflict with the schedule, because how could it not? I hate the She-Hulk release schedule. Dropping on Thursday screws everything up. All right, so I guess we'll have the next live stream for episode 7, same day and time. The week after that, I don't know, because I really wanted to cover the new Hellraiser movie. So I gotta do She-Hulk and then try to do Hellraiser at the same time, I guess. Not sure how that's gonna work. So right after I finish the She-Hulk video, I guess I'll be going into Hellraiser. Not sure if I'll be able to cover the next episode. So episode 8, I think that'll make it. So we'll see. So a week from now, I guess I'll be back covering episode 7. Not sure about episode 8. I may want to do Hellraiser instead. So we'll see about that. So stay tuned. I will talk to you guys next week. In the meantime, stay tuned for She-Hulk. The next video, I guess they'll continue dropping on Sundays. Thank you for all the views and all the new subscribers on those videos. I really appreciate all the support. You guys helped me meet my goal for the year, plus a little extra. And they're going to be turning my power off any minute now. So thank you again for tuning in. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.